What's going on, YouTube? OCD for EDC here, and what I got for your face balls today is this little guy right here. This happens to be one of the Flytanium ball cages for a Spyderco Manix 2. I have removed the little straight pin that goes into it. For those that don't know, they're just threaded in. But what we're going to try and do here today is make this titanium black. And so what I've got over here is some vegetable oil, and then I have my MAP gas torch. I use MAP gas because it burns hotter than propane. That's what it looks like right there. The yellow bottles are MAP gas. Alright, so let's just get right into it here. We'll light the torch. Now this is probably going to take multiple times to make this part black, but what we're going to do is get this glowing red hot and then quench it in the oil. And after a few times of doing that, we should end up with black titanium. It's going to kind of look like on the pew-pews, like bluing, if you will. That's kind of what I'm going for here anyway. So that looks pretty good there. Alright, so there is the first go around. You can see it darkened up quite a bit, but let's go again. Now, when you do have oil on here, you run the risk of that oil catching on fire, but so just do this in a place where it's safe to do this. And I'm just holding this with a piece of titanium wire. There we go. It's getting darker yet. Getting some of the excess oil off here. Gotten pretty dark. It's not full on black yet, but we'll go one more time here. Now for this right at the moment, just because we didn't have any other oils, I'm using vegetable oil. However, peanut oil works pretty good, and I may redo this after we get some peanut oil. I just didn't have any to do that with right at the moment. But we'll go this time here and then see what it looks like, and I'll clean it off and show you guys close up what this thing is going to look like. should be cooled off now. Get some of this excess oil off. This is just an old t-shirt that I got laying here using for a rag. Let me get this cleaned off a bit. All right, I'm going to move you over here where there's some light. Yeah, I'll have to get it cleaned up so you can see it better, but and I'll get it in some better lighting. But you can see there we have black titanium. All right, guys, now we're back in. Just got done making my titanium ball cage black. And so now I started doing this with the little rod on, so you can see that it's a little bit discolored. But then I found out that these are actually threaded. Sorry, got a band-aid on my thumb here, but this thing's actually threaded, so we're going to have to put that back in. And since we don't want it to move, I'm going to use some red Loctite on this little guy. I've had a couple of these Flytanium ball cages, but I had not taken the pin out before. But a little bit of red Loctite is going to do the trick. Grab my little pliers here. Perfect. All right, the knife this is going in is my Spyderco St. Nick's exclusive in CPM 4V. Awesome. This is just a fantastic variant of the Mannix 2. So let's get her in here and see what she looks like. So you need a T10 for the pivot, and then a T8 for the two body screws. And the way that I do this is a little different than what some people do, but it makes this a pretty simple job, really. So you can just take the 3 screws out on one side, and then you can raise the scale and then rotate it out of the way, and then do the same thing with the liner, just like that. And so this way you don't have to mess around with the lanyard, which is pressed in, the lanyard tube. All right, now what you want to do is loosen the screw on the back side here, or actually, I'm sorry, you're going to want to loosen the bottom one just a touch, like that, and then remove this screw. And what that allows you to do, once I get the screw out of there we go, then that allows this piece that holds the spring in, that allows that to pivot upwards a little bit like that. And then you can open the blade, hold on to the whole show, and you can just work the blade and the ball cage. There's the washer. We'll just work the whole thing up. I just knocked a screw off my table. There we go. There's the ball. Now hold on a second, because I got to find that screw. All right, now we're back. Took me a minute, had to find the screw, had to pause this for a second. So, okay, now we'll get, so this is the standard ball cage, the plastic one that comes in the Mannix 2. You can see they're very, very similar. And these Flytanium ball cages are pretty cool. They don't, make a whole lot of difference functionally with the knife, but they do add a little bit better grip on the ball cage itself, which is nice. I'm just cleaning everything up here. Got a little dust in there. Okay, now get my handy dandy oil pen here. I'm gonna put just a little bit of oil here on the pivot and that washer. Just kind of work that in. A little fuzz on there. Take the spring, put it on, and oop. There we go. All right. I'm gonna stick the ball cage down in its hole there. There we go. All right, now we need to put the opposite screw back in. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt. You got to keep everything lined up. There we go. Okay. My spring's in. Now I'm going to put a little more lube down here for this washer. Perfect. And then we'll go ahead and put the liner back on and the scale. Start getting some screws back in this bad boy. So, some of these, like, I know that there's, you can get ceramic balls for the Mannix 2, which that mod is not something that I think is that necessary. I don't really think you get much of a functional difference out of that. With this mod, it definitely, like I said, it does give you better traction on the ball cage, but it's not a huge improvement. It's not something that I think is just like, oh my god, you have to do it kind of mod, but it is kind of cool, especially if you want to change the color of it. So really that's kind of really just for aesthetic reasons. So there you go. There is the black titanium ball cage for my Mannix 4V. I think I've got it just a little bit tight here. There we go. Blade is centered. Action is great. And it will take a little while for the new ball just to kind of get worn in a little bit, or the new ball cage. But you can see there, now we've got black titanium. And compared to the plastic, you can just tell, you know, the old one, you can just tell that it's plastic by looking at it. I don't know if I have... You can, I don't know how well you can see that, but the plastic one definitely, you can just tell there's actually like a little line that runs right through the middle of it. You can see it there on that flat surface if I hold it in the light just right. So from the injection mold, you can see that line, but here on the titanium one, you know, you don't have that going on. So pretty cool, you know, just makes it a little bit nicer. And like I said, it's a little nicer to grab a hold of and actuate. I have noticed with some of them, this one's not terrible. Another one that I had, the ball had just a little bit of slop in the cage. And so when you brought the knife just off of, you know, where the kind of spring tension would make the ball roll back and forth inside the cage, it would make a clicking noise. This one does it a little bit. It's not as bad as the last one I had. So you can actually see the ball cage move just a little bit. It moves side to side just a little bit after it crosses that hump. See that? So the old one that I had did that a lot worse, and it made a distinctive click. You know, not that it was any kind of big ordeal, but just something to think about. But there you go. So now this really kind of matches the hardware better, I would say. You know, the black titanium, I mean, you can just tell that it's a metal part instead of being a plastic component. So yeah, pretty happy with the way it turned out. So there you go, guys. That's how you make titanium black. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll talk to you later. I'm out.